And good morning. Happy October 9th, 2021. If you can hear me, let me know over in the comments. 10 of you rolling in here, 4 thumbs up. Make sure you smack that like button. That lets that YouTube algorithm know that they should be pushing this content out to other folks. Good morning, Bob Carpenter. Good morning, Ryan Sharp. Everybody coming in this morning. Morning, Sean. Morning, Gibby. All right, everybody filing in. Oh, excuse me. Morning, Terry, James, Noodles, CH, Joe with Cajoling Tech. Everybody tell Joe hi. He made it. Joe's a busy man. Good morning, TN Bighorn, Guyber, Prav, Noodles. All right. David Anderson. Hey, Tony. Tony is the busiest retired guy you'll ever meet. All right, everybody filing in this morning. Thank you, Bob Carpenter, for throwing those links in there. Morning, Clarence, Torben. All right, look at everybody filing in. All right, so quick little housekeeping thing this morning. If you're signed up for the Ubiquity training for this week, everything will be coming Monday. The meeting link, the overview, everything we're going to talk about. And I am also reducing the price. So you will see a partial refund coming this week. I am going to reduce the price on that one-day Ubiquity class. It's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central. I am going to reduce the price. So Cody with Mac Telecom in the house. Resi. All right. So I don't really have too many specific things that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to mention a couple things. The last couple of weeks have been hard for voice over IP providers, but there is a Telenex link down below. If you are looking to make some changes, let us know. This is not the full marketing lever here, but I will tell you that we did have a couple customers during that reached out and they were interested in moving their numbers. They were eligible for Fastport, and so we did it at no additional fee outside of just our regular hourly fee. We fast-ported the numbers, and life is good. So, check out Telnex. There's an affiliate link down below. You don't have to use that, but get you $20 free in credit. So why not? And Tony was working on an interesting project that he told me about. So you've seen my Grandstream video on the HT801, and I believe Tony picked up an HT802, and he's running, I think, 2 older phones, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, go ahead and post your questions over in the comments. And as the questions roll in, we will try to answer them. If you follow me on any social media, posted a picture last night of our living room, where we now have a 5-foot killer clown from outer space, and I said that I hope my children will appreciate all the fine things we are going to bequeath them. So, Cody, yes, I saw a couple people hit me up, and Cody tagged me. Cody got a UCM 6301. He says he's got inbound working. Now he's got to figure out outbound calls. Yeah, so you will learn quite a bit when you start messing around with voice over IP. Terry Johnson, I have not. Ubiquity actually told me they were going to send me a Solar Point, and I sent an email to see if they were actually going to ship that out. So I haven't received it yet, but start to finish solar videos are on my list. JH says, how's your lead times looking? I just ordered 600 Cat 93 and they said it's going to be 9 months. Yeah. So we're looking at lead times into 2022 as well. Even for standard model laptops, apparently, like because of the worker shortage, excuse me, like we've got all these, I don't know what's true and what's not true. I can only say what I see on the news, but um, apparently all of the ships are not docking and they're not, able to unload the cargo. And apparently we've got yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Bob Carpenter says 500,000 plus containers are allegedly stuck in the LA harbor. Yeah, because of the labor shortage, I believe. Ryan says, putting a switch in my garage for cameras. Ended up getting a Cisco WSC 3568 PCS. It has the fins at the back for cooling. Any recommendations for protecting it from the elements? Well, it's in a garage and it's not going to get, I mean, the worst thing that you're going to have, right, is humidity and heat. I don't, not 100% familiar with that model. But if it's got fins on it, I'm assuming that it's got some passive cooling. I just would make sure that you don't get it wet and you don't feed it after midnight. But I mean, you should be fine. Our dryer, our laundry dryer vents into the garage, and I've got access point out there. I've got the power over or the Ethernet over power line out there, and everything has been working fine for a while. And we've had some pretty hot days. Al from France, hello. Prav says apparently contract scammer centers are using Grandstream UCMs around the world. They didn't change the tones. Well, if things are set up properly, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I haven't seen an emergency software upgrade or an emergency anything. Let's see here if we can go to firmware.grandstream.com. There is a general beta firmware for the 6200 series, but that's been out for a couple weeks. And we're on 1.0.9.10 for the 6300 series. Yeah, I'd like to see your source on that, Prav. But I'm betting that the PBXs are not configured correctly. Terry, I may take you up on that. Give me a week. Let me get through the next week, and then we'll see where we're at, and I might talk to you about that. So Tyler says news, right? And Tony is right. You will love the UCM PBX. You will find out why it's far superior to most products that are out there. TN Bighorn says, my daughter is in the logistics business and she spent the last month rerouting hundreds upon hundreds of container ships to different ports. Yeah, so I would believe with the comments coming in that, yeah, we've got some sort of crazy something happening. Oh, Tony says, same deal here at the ports of Wilmington. Yeah, so it must be, I don't know what kind of a, whatever you even call it. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah. Peg says, got approved for a tech bonus, $3,000 worth of toys, but have to be work related. Any products you can suggest for IT admin working from home? Already have Unifi, System, Home Network, and Synology now. Ooh, well, can they be training? If they could be training things, I mean, if I had a $3,000 budget to just go shopping to make myself better, I would hit up eBay. I would be buying more Juniper switches than I have. I'd actually get an Arista switch in the rack. Be getting more extreme switches. I would maybe look at getting, along with some of those things, I would get some subscriptions to some of the new SDN stuff so you can take a look at it. Extreme and Juniper are, they've got some high-end SDN stuff happening, but it's not free. And there's a reason that it's not free. So, I mean, there's, support and all kinds of things that go along with it. But yeah, if somebody handed me like $3,000 and was like, have at it, I'd have probably two more racks full of equipment. Joe says, I'm using the Grandstream ATA connected to a special box that I can take the audio into an audio mixer. Well, that's cool. So are you going to use that for call-ins, Joe? I'm assuming. My Rode can take. I can't take a phone line input, but I could get a converter to go to that. The way that I usually take phone calls, though, is I just have the Wave app on a phone, an extra phone, and then I have people call in and answer it that way, and it works out pretty well. Ryan says, do you ever have issues with spiders nesting around your equipment? Not really. Not really. Not here, but I mean, I'm here to be able to deal with those kinds of things, and that's not really something that sticks out in my mind. Yeah, Bob says, Ryan Sharp, just ants inside my power supply when I lived in Costa Rica. Yeah, ants can be a pretty good problem. Noodle says, so I heard Unifi is considering removing the mandatory cloud registration requirement. Can anybody confirm? I can't confirm. I haven't heard that. Sometimes people start rumors because they want it to be true and they try to push it that way, but we'll see. I mean, the way things are going, if you're looking at the new stuff that's coming out, we're going to do some videos at some point, but I don't see them coming off that requirement. I could be wrong. Somebody let us know if we're wrong. Yeah, JH, we've done a couple migrations. Actually, we're working on our migration. The problem is I'm waiting for a second internet provider here. Because I'm not in a super hurry, but we will be all hosted on Synology in-house. And then we've got 2 customers where everything is Synology. I just set up another one with Mail. So yeah, they're out there. And then sometimes we're brought in to consult after the fact. The customer already has most of it done and is having some issues. So we'll help them. But there are people that are completely cloud-based in-house with their own clouds. Bob asks, with all of the VoIP DDoS attacks, have you seen anything new in a redundant strategy for those wanting to avoid being affected? Well, just make sure. I mean, it takes time to port phone numbers and everything, but if you had, I don't know, I just thinking off the top of my head, if you knew for sure that you had, this is an interesting thought, and I'm just thinking about this off the top of my head, but let's say, and James, I see James is here, so James can comment on this as well, but this is what I'm thinking. It would involve 3 providers, and this is totally off the top of my head. I haven't vetted it, so it could just be crazy. But you've got 3 providers, right? So you have, and you have to make sure that they are not all using the same upstream. So you have super solid, reliable vendor, get you an 800 number, toll-free number, right? At the top. If you can imagine, this is going to be like a pyramid, or like a chart that goes down, but you have a provider at the top that's got your 800 number, and then you have 2 others. So you would have 3 providers, one providing just your toll-free number, and then 2 providers with DIDs not published to the public. And then you have your toll-free provider automatically forwarding that number to your least reliable of the other 2. And then if something happens and you go and you can switch that, and I don't know if that makes sense. James, that was totally just talking out of my hat right there. Let's see. Looks like I'm missing a question up here. Let's see. Peg says we are a Meraki shop at work. Yeah, a lot of people like Meraki. Let's see. Oh, JH says Aruba has the net net edit tool that is a nice SDN. You can get a 25 device license for free. So I'm assuming that's not the Aruba stuff that you've seen here. It's the full meal deal is what I'm thinking on that. Let me know if I'm right about that, JH. David Anderson says, any experience with game changer cable? Supposed to do 1 gig at 600 foot. Well, I think Tom Lawrence did a video on that game changer cable. And I can't remember what the results were, but I think he had pretty positive results with long runs on that. And I'm not sure how that affects the quality of things long term. So no, we typically now it's not uncommon for us to do like a mid-span PoE injector and push a little further. But as far as doing it with just the cable, I don't have any personal experience with that. You have to go look at Tom's video. Gibby says, can you recommend a true outdoor switch, something that can be mounted to a pole? I was looking at the Tycon Power and L Global, looking to save time and space. So Ubiquity does have switches that can be mounted outside directly in the elements. Let me see if I've got one on the shelf here. I don't know where it's at, but it's big. It's a full-blown switch. And you don't want to use Ubiquity. Just saw that. As far as a switch that can be exposed directly to the elements, I don't know. JH says that he's used some Edge Core, and I don't have any experience with Edge Core. Yeah, Joe, the Rodecaster is, I mean, for an all-in-one device, it's really software driven. They've added a lot of amazing features to it. So the two products that I can recommend if you're going to start recording audio and maybe do a podcast, vlog, or whatever is the Rodecaster Pro. That's what you're hearing this through right now. This is a Rode pod mic. And it sits over here to the right. It's got Bluetooth. It's got USB input. It's got a headphone jack input. It's got 4 mics, 4 headphones. It's got the pads. I don't even know what these pads are set to. Let's play one. Somebody's going to have to tell me because I don't have the card over here. So I'm going to push this button and you're going to have to tell me in the comments what it was. Not sure what it is. But, so that should have gone away. But then the other one is this little Zoom PodTrack P4. And this thing is ultra portable. And then pair it with the Zoom voice changer, and you've got yourself a neat little afternoon, right? So I bought this to go in the bag, so I can take it with my MacBook, and I bought a couple mics, the Zoom kit that goes with this. So that's mostly what my audio is recorded on. In camera, when I do my videos, I have a Deity Pro instead of a Rode. I know, right? Everything I talk about is Rode. But the Deity shotgun mic on the camera does an excellent job. And then I do have some handheld recorders where I can do off-camera stuff and post, sync and post. But I don't know. Sometimes I just want to do a video and get it done. And so I'll record audio in camera. But even when you see like the video you saw the other night, in order to sync where I'm at with my PC versus where I'm at with my camera, because I have 2 different video feeds. I'm actually doing a screen recording on the PC. I take this back. Last week, you'll notice with the PowerPoint that I did that the video is a little choppy. That's because I use Screencast-O-Matic to capture my screen, and it did not know how to handle the Canon. It just does not handle higher end cameras very well. But if you go back before that, I'm recording the video live here. I'm recording Screencast-O-Matic. At the beginning of the videos, you don't see me go, but that's how I, shoot video and audio to line it up and then cut it out. So long story short, The Rodecaster is good, Joe. I kind of went off the rails there. TVJ, good morning. Somebody just asked if there was a recommendation for fiber termination, or is it better to just bring in a vendor? So I would love to go to a class, and it's one of those things that's on my list to go learn how to properly splice fiber. A lot of times, if we get pulled in, they'll either have an electrician or a low voltage. More than likely, it's a low voltage specialist that knows how to terminate fiber. Or we'll use fiberstore.fs.com. We'll order a pre-configured length of fiber that comes on a spool, and you just pull it through the conduit and you're done. You can save a ton of money doing that. But if you need, when you could even get a cassette, to go from LC to LC, so you would still have the cassette in the rack. But if you want, the custom length and all that, I would love to learn how to do it. So no, I don't have any recommendations on a tool for that right now. Joe says, what cajoling says, hey, Willie, what is your take on Mikrotik 10 gig switches? I love the Mikrotik switches. They're super solid. And if you're talking about the ones that are all 10 gig, but they've also got, some switches that have 40 gig, and you can break out the 40 gig port into 4 10 gigs per port. It's pretty nice. James is right. He says those call centers, and we're talking about the ones, where the call centers are having some issues. James says those call centers generally are using an Asterisk-based PBX, which is what Grandstream is based off of as well, and that is correct. We are messing with another PBX that is based off our free switch. We want to have some options. Leroy says, I love your content. I've learned a lot from you. Hey, thanks. And he is, or I'm assuming, Leroy is in Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and thank you. The Rodecaster Pro has a lot of features that I'm not even like. My Rodecaster is like most people's Active Directory. You just scratch the surface, right? You're not using it to its full. Ryan says, I learned that Synology brand memory is like $100 for 4 gigs. It's actually more expensive than that sometimes, depending on where the supply chain is at. On the boxes, they do recognize that it's not Synology memory. You'll get a warning. Synology won't support in certain situations if you're having issues and you're not using Synology memory. It's the same way with the hard drives on some of the models, but we haven't had too many issues. Good morning, Jeremy. So there's all kinds of vendors that have the inline PoE. So you should check that out. Mikrotik does make an outdoor switch. Let's go to mikrotik.com. And we'll go to hardware. And now that Joe says that, they also make a reverse PoE. If you can imagine what reverse PoE is. Let's see. Yeah, so they have the Net Power. Well, the Net Power Lite 7R is an outdoor reverse PoE switch with gigabit Ethernet and 10 gig uplinks. The Net Power 15R is an outdoor 18-port switch with reverse PoE, and it's 149 USDs. The Net Power Lite 7R is 129. Looks like the difference between the 7 and the 15 is the number of ports. Okay, so the Net Power 16P is an outdoor 18-port switch with 16 gigabit PoE outports and 2 SFP plus ports. Power all your access points everywhere. And that one is $279. Let's see if they've got anything else. So those are the only 3 outdoor switches that Mikrotik makes. The 2 reverse PoEs and then the regular PoE. Let's see here. Man, you guys are filling the comments this morning. I love it. Let's see. Gibby says he looked into Mikrotik, but not enough power from what the specs say. That's interesting. The sound was a little hot. Yeah, sorry about that. Good morning, Doug. Doug Dodge is in the house. Terry says, I always thought you were clapping for just me. That's funny. Let's see. Over to the comments here. Gibby says, thanks. I'll look at EdgeCore, but at first glance, they look like Cambium. And then Gibby says, for fiber termination, look at Clearline. So also, there's supposed to be like an easy fiber termination kit. Does anybody know anything about that? Put that in the comments. I think 3M might make it. And maybe that's what JH is talking about, the glue-on connectors from Corning. That might be what I was thinking of, but there's supposed to be some sort of like really easy fiber kit out there. Ressi says, terminating the fiber is easy, but fusion splicers equal $. Yeah. Let's see here. Gibby says, the Clearline cleaver is awesome, easy to use, and their LC and SC connectors are super simple. Yeah. Sean asks, what are my thoughts on the Mikrotik RB5009UG plus S plus N, which is classified as their heavy duty home lab router? Well, Mikrotik's part numbers don't always stick with me. Which one is this? Oh, this is the new one. Yeah, I think I saw Cody might have done a video on this. I haven't had my hands on this yet. But this thing is, yeah, it's got like a huge heat sink on the bottom, and they actually, yeah, they do bill it the ultimate heavy duty home lab router. I did not see those words before. It's got USB 3, 1 gig, 2.5 gig, and 10 gig. You can mount 4 of these new routers in a single 1U rack space. Unprecedented processing power in such a small form factor. Well, I might have to grab one of those. Prav says, I've used Crucial Memory on the older Synology disk station with no errors. Yeah. Yep. Some of those boxes you don't get the errors on. Joe from Cajoling Technologies asks, when you run surveillance station remotely, do you use Quick Connect? I got an error that I need to do port forward. So we do not use Quick Connect for a lot of things. We use Quick Connect kind of as like a last resort. We will do port forwarding. We will do a proper SSL certificate, whether we use Let's Encrypt or whether we buy a certificate. A lot of times we have people who are only have a single IP, and maybe they're hosting something else not on the Synology, in which case, or they have multiple Synologies, in which case using Let's Encrypt becomes a little bit more difficult. So a lot of times we'll spend that hefty fee of about $5 a year and buy a certificate. Also, make sure you have email configured and make sure you have 2-factor authentication enabled. And then also make sure that you have disabled the built-in admin account. So all of those things, Joe, should give you a great experience. Just helped another customer Thursday night. They're in California, and pulled them off of their Hikvision NVR, where the camera's all plugged into the NVR, and put them on Synology surveillance station. In fact, my on-site contact there had most of the stuff done. I went in, reviewed camera settings and things like that, and we talked about how to make changes. And overall, they are very, very happy with it. There's only a couple people that I can think that have really complained about the Synology, and it's because they're brand loyal, and they don't want to learn how to use anything else. So when you have those brand loyal people who won't give anything else a chance, then what are you going to do? It is what it is. Let's see. Jordan asked, what is reverse PoE? Well, if I understand reverse PoE correctly, wouldn't that mean that a device is actually feeding power to power the switch? If I'm incorrect about that, somebody let me know. If I'm correct about it, make sure you hit the like button. If I'm incorrect, hit the like button anyway, but let me know that I'm wrong in the comments. Tony says, I haven't had any issues using Kingston memory on my Synology boxes. Yeah, well, usually the errors where I see them are like the 1U units, 2U units. On the smaller boxes, I haven't seen, like the 2 and 4 disc, I haven't seen any complaints, I don't think. Good morning, Dave Robertson. James and I have worked together for years, and for some reason, I did not know that he was certified to terminate fiber with Panduit Opticam fiber tools. So we're gonna have to check that out, James. We're gonna have a conversation about that. I could have had you traveling all over the state, man, all over the state. Let's see. Daryl says Crucial works well in Synology too. I read, but not supported, and could cause data issues if you are the unlucky one. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So they tell you, like, we're not going to support it, but. And Bob's 100% right. It's not like Synology is using proprietary RAM. They're just rebranding specific modules. So, and I've got to get with my Synology salesperson because, and I think Tony is aware of this. I think we talked about this, but our normal media contact is no longer with Synology. He moved on to a startup, which he's supposed to let me know when we can really talk about that. But I am media contactless at Synology at the moment. So right now, the only outlet I have to try to get things done is with my inside sales folks. All right. So if you've got any more questions, go ahead and post them. Hope everybody's feeling good this morning. Everybody's doing well. And we'll wait just a couple more minutes for everybody to post their comments. Otherwise, if there's no more questions, we are going to start looking at wrapping this up. I got a lot of emails I got to respond to. Got to get the day going. So JH says, does Synology sell bulk mail station licenses? I think you can buy them in 5 packs. And for some reason, I want to say 30 packs. Why does that sound? Mail server plus license pack. Let's see. They sell them. I'm sorry. They sell them in a 5 pack and a 20 pack. And they are perpetual, and they can be migrated to other Synology NASs as long as it's under the same Synology account. Now, you do get 5 free Mail Plus licenses with your Synology as long as it can run it. So I recommend, I'm telling you, Synology Mail Plus is like, it is amazing for a product that comes for free for 5 licenses is fantastic. Let's see. You'll need 3,000 licenses. I would say for 3,000, I would not do Amazon. I would think you'd be able to get sharper pricing or better pricing going through a reseller. So JH, you could send me an email and I could get you the reseller closest to you. And you could reach out. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I know they can get you special pricing. It just depends how much they want to help you out. So, all right, cool. I want to thank you all for being here. If you need consulting, reach out at williehowe.com. All the affiliate links are below. Like I said, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.